That's right. It's episode 37 from Rinkside. I'm joining you live from Arizona. That's in the United States if you're kind of new to geographies and whatnot, but it's pretty damn hot down here in the 80 degrees. But Chewie, how's it up north? What's things been going down for you?
Yeah, I'm coming live here from my house, which is in Canada, which is not as warm as where you are. But things are going okay. Just trying to think. Did we ever talk about the season finale of The Last of Us?
I'm not positive, but I do remember it.
Did
What'd you
you
think?
watched it? I
Yeah,
thought I liked it. A lot of people didn't like it though. They said it was too fast or something. They didn't
it was
like the
it
whole.
was fast. Like that would be like if you're trying to break like, one of the time, records, you on a speed run, kind of The Last of Us. That's kind of how it might have gone out. I remember there being a lot more of challenges in the actual game, but I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, it definitely could have been a couple more episodes, but yeah, I thought it was a good series. I'm excited for the next season. I'm assuming they're doing more seasons, so I'm excited to see what they do next. I think Pedro Pascal and I don't know what the actress's name, but whoever plays Ellie, they're really good together. I think they
Oh
have a
yeah,
good dynamic.
yeah.
So yeah, other than that, I do have a couple things to show you guys today. If
Oh
you're cool
yeah.
with it, I finally got this framed. So I ordered the frame from the US, and this bad boy came in. I think the glare is going to make it like impossible to see,
Oh
but
oh, we can
it's
see it.
six. Yeah, it's six cards making that patch that I've had for a while, and now they're all together. So it makes that Detroit logo, and right back there, the Mantha as well has a frame. So super excited about those, and I got a whole stack of cards like that.
Oh,
I'm going to show off
damn.
one though today, and I'll show a couple more later. But I thought this one was pretty cool. It's an NHL player's credential card, so it looks like his
Oh,
access card to the facility has like a barcode and everything. I thought that was pretty
sick.
neat. But yeah, I got a whole ton. Actually, I lied. I'm going to show one more because I think it's really cool.
Okay.
Um, where is it? This one here. So it's like the only card I believe because it's a printing plate. So this card it's signed and like the card. The reason it looks so faded, it's because it's the magenta printing plate to make the
Oh,
card.
oh,
So
very interesting.
pretty cool. It should be like the only one. It's like a one, yeah, one of one. So this is the only one ever that you'll ever find. So I like these ones. It's pretty cool.
Very neat. That's so cool to have, not only like the creation, but the thing that created it, you know, like
Yeah,
the printer.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, what do we got on the agenda today?
So we've got coming up first and foremost, we've got our transactions and Chewy, looks like you got a lot to big bite to chew off here. We got the
Yeah.
the screenshot on here.
So there's a few transactions that we missed last week. Rome Gladiators ended up sending, or I guess releasing Johnny McSlaps from their team due to misprogressions, and they called up Willie Ruth. He played his first two games last week before the All-Star break, and Turku released Anthony Simmons from the affiliate program. He will stay on Malmo, though, until 4 misprogressions. And we got a whole bunch of U Miners players, which is awesome to see. Hopefully they're watching this episode. If you're not, you should watch it. Or I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I guess you need to watch it to hear that statement. But we got Jake Lake and Percy Texera from going to the Beijing Bucks. We got Trey Trust and Hunter Jackson going to Berlin Snowhawks. Evan Cummings, who was in the league prior, he's back going to Iceland. Joe and NHL. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, NHL, that's funny.
To the Malmo Royals. Oh, that's clever. And then Tokyo Tigers signed Sean Gilkivocevic Chichic, and Iceland get Hamato Michelangelo, TMNT, that's pretty sweet. Tokyo Tigers signed Kenny Flourish, who I believe was in the league before. Maybe, nope, that's a lie. Sydney Wales signed Raymond Hudson. Warsaw Warlock signed Hayes Jackson. And what's really cool with that Hayes Jackson signing is all 8 minor teams are full. So that's pretty sweet. We're at a total of like 456 active players in the league after that signing. So let's hit 500 before next season. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. All right, now we've got our stand-ins for you. What you looking at?
Yeah, we'll go through these pretty quick this week because there hasn't been much change, but there is one section we'll talk quite a bit about. But as you can see, Las Vegas still up in first place, but Alaska has 2 games at hand with 2 points back. Albuquerque has been on and off, but they're still holding third place, 41 points, and San Diego's right behind them with 39. And here's where the race comes in on the Rocket side. San Diego, Redwater at 35 points, only 4 points away. Tennessee's 30 points. They're only 9 points away. So, and actually Honolulu's tied with Tennessee too. So all those teams still fighting for playoffs. We'll talk about it a little later, but we'll be keeping up on key matchups for these teams where, if San Diego and Redwater face each other, like a Redwater win is super impactful for them. But lastly on the list, we got North Bay at 21st. I think their season's just about done. But we're going to go off to the Mr. Hockey side, where we have the Copenhagen Vikings with 48 points, Miami just behind 45, but they have 2 games at hand still to be entered. And I believe both of those are wins, so technically they'd be at 49 points. Florence right now at 40 points, Turku at 39, which I believe they won their game, and then Jacksonville at 39, but I also believe they won their game. So without these entered, it's tough to say, but I believe right now they're all like fighting for that spot right there, those 2 spots. It's crazy to watch. Like Jacksonville is such a good team. If they miss, that'd be heartbreaking for them. Turku, if they miss, would be heartbreaking for them. And Florence, obviously, they, with what they've done over the past couple of seasons, I think anything less than not making the playoffs, or anything less than making the playoffs, is a failure of a season. And then Norfolk, they're still not out. They also have 30 points. They're climbing up. They are playing a really good season. We just faced them this week, and they really put up a fight. I was sweating. So keep an eye on Norfolk next season because they could be a real monster of a team. And then finally, we got Rome with 27 points and Boston with 21. And while we're on the standings, I don't know if you have it there, but huge shout out to your division conference, who won the All-Star game last week. And shout out to all the divisions that played in the All-Star game. I believe Euro took home the minors and the pro wins. But looking at the divisions now, as saw Miami, Copenhagen, Vegas, and Albuquerque all in their top seeds. And in the playoffs, as of now, we have Alaska, San Diego as well, and Florence, and I believe Turku would be winning the tiebreaker.
Pretty close all around.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's turn our attention over to the beloved minors section. We have in first place with 38 points is Tokyo, who's been holding down this title for quite some time. In 37 points, second place, we have Sydney, and then Warsaw with 35. And then kind of coming down to Chibney, Iceland, Berlin, Malmo, all tied with 27. And they have a bigger difference in goal differential between Iceland and Berlin than Berlin and Malmo. But we've got Wellington back still at there with 23, still in contention for that 4th position. And Beijing with 16. I think that sounds about like double the points they had last time. So I'd say keep up the good pace. But that's what we've got for our minors here. We're going to shift our focus on over to the power play and penalty kill. It's still pretty same story. Not a lot of changes in here. Still got people in first position that are kind of holding on to those in our face-offs. Very similar sentiment, but it's always good for, skill and reputation to recognize where people hold their positions. Now turning to the league leaders of the league, we've got Hank Falco, Marco Swift, and Voodoo all in a three-way tie with 23 goals. Garrett Winkler is leading with assists, not far behind by Leathers, and then Scarborough, all each within a point. And then we got Leathers over here taking the lead in points leader, although Falco, who was holding on to that, is now only 2 points away. So still a close kind of race here.
Yeah, and actually, while we're still looking at this, I was looking at this with a couple other people. This season, it looks like the points record and the points per game record should be broken because I believe the points record is 52 or 53, and the points per game record, they need 56 points to break. So there's a few players chomping at the bit to break some records this season, which is awesome to see. I think also Dime Hardaway, he's looking to break a few defense records for assists and points this year. I believe the points record is like almost 30. And then the assist record is around there as well. So couple players to keep an eye on for your records this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't forget about those. Shout out to them. And let's take a quick peek on over to our rookie leaderboard. The numbers are a little bit smaller, but the effort is more of magnitude, a bit higher because it's your first season. You only get one shot. Stig Magnus in first with goals 6. Jerry Jackson assists 12. Jerry Jackson point leader 13. Is Jerry Jackson still in the league, Chewie, or is he going to?
He is still currently in the league, and I think he did progress this week. I'd have to take a look, but yeah, I mean he's going to hit his 5th missed progression, which is unfortunate. Really wish players that are doing well would be active, but unfortunately, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Well, let's take a turn from the players to actually looking at our teams with our deep dive of the week. We're going to start off with the Alaska Arctic Wolves. Got their roster there for you.
Yep. So this week we're deep diving the 2 top teams in the league. We'll take a look at Alaska, who obviously have built themselves a dynamite team this year. Like you could look at Heather Gray, one of the best snipers in the league, CJ Beamer, one of the best playmakers in the league, and Geralt Winkler, Tom Krieg. Like right there, you have 4 of the best players in the league. Just those 4. And then you got Chris Lee, Wakim Alu, all great secondary players, Jägermeister, who can all, help with the depth scoring. On defense, a wagon, Jordan Gillespie won an award last year. They got some great offensive players like Donovan DeVence and Michael Kennedy as well. And probably one of the best rated goalies in the league as well, Chris McBride. The one thing to keep an eye on this year, though, is they've got, looks like 9 players unsigned. And obviously with expansion, they'll be losing some players there, and they are way over the cap. So it looks like this team will look a lot different next season. It'll be interesting to see what they do because I know Krieg builds a lot of his team through friendships, like outside of the league. So hopefully he doesn't have to kick some friends to the curb. But yeah, Alaska's great this year, but let's see what happens to them in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. But, what we can't talk about today is where they have performed. So leading the team in hits is Jordan Gillespie. That's 110 hits this season. That's 8th all-time hits this season across the league. But let's look at the team in particular when we talk about hits. So 4th place in hits overall. So definitely bringing some good rhythm onto the play. So back to our stats. We've got Gillespie is the only player on Alaska to have not registered a goal this season. The goals leader for the team is Tom Krieg, who has 20 goals. That's 5th on the league leaders list. Krieg is also tied for 1st in power play goals with 6. Pretty impressive performance. Garrett Winkler leads the team in overall points with 39 points. Winkler is, first in assists across the league and third in overall points. So let's take a little deep dive down into the faceoffs. Alaska placed in 11th in faceoffs. Are we looking at the same? Okay. And then finally, from a special teams, we've got Alaska with a 14th ranked power play, so definitely could be doing better there, but a second ranked penalty kill. So really like that. And, finally wrapping up, we got some notice of we wanted more goalie stats. So let's not forget our goalie here. Chris McBride leads the league in save percentage with a .917. He's also second in shutouts with 6 and first in goals against average with 1.68. So I'll flip it to Las Vegas for you, Chewie.
One last thing on the goalie stats on Alaska too. Funny stat: Pat Callan is currently the only backup goalie to have played this season, and that's because there was an error in lines.
Oh, interesting.
They started Pat Callan, so he played one period, and he's the only backup goalie to do it all season because with the new slider updates that we've made, the AI doesn't pull the goalie anymore, or I don't know. There's been 10 goal games and they haven't pulled a goalie, so I don't know where the threshold is now for goalie pulls, but shout out to Pat Callan.
Yeah. All right, you got Las Vegas.
Yeah, so next up we got Las Vegas. Very similar boat as Alaska. I mean, best rated team in the league, with expansion incoming and the salary cap or the overall cap taking effect for this team. They'll be losing quite a number of players, and by the looks of it, they have 6, 8, 10 players expiring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so Las Vegas is going to look very different this season. They're obviously making a push for the Cup this year, and then they'll worry about that, through expansion and the off season. But they've got a great defense core: Doug Britton, Frank Castle, Kyle Storm, and Doc Hudson, all who've been here almost since the beginning. Kyle Storm's the only one that showed up from season 2. And on forward, they got a lot of OG players: Billy Busick, Essex Denabola, Victor Fleury, Keviana Higgins, Chuck Ackles, Victor Davis. I mean, this is just, you're looking at a veteran squad right here. And Doug Britton's built a pretty good one. We'll see what he does in the offseason, but it doesn't look like there'll be a lot of these names on the roster after this offseason.
Well, there's a time for change, and there's a time for hits. And Doug Britton himself is leading the team with 123 hits. That's second overall in the league. Pretty impressive performance for an owner. Let's see. When it comes to hits, Las Vegas is number 1 in the league. I think that's pretty good. So it's not only the standout player contributions, but really as a team as a whole, they really put together to bring in those hits. Hank Falco leading the team with points. Actually, goals with 23 this season, number 1 overall. Falco also leads the team in overall with points with 45, which is first overall compared to other league leaders. So big contributor there. Here's another interesting fact here. 6 out of the 10 league leaders in plus minus come from Las Vegas. So they definitely have a positive contribution when it comes down to it. So looking at their faceoffs, we see Las Vegas ranked at 7th, which is, not in the top 6, but still, well up there. And from the special teams perspective, we have Las Vegas ranked 10th in power play and 3rd in penalty kill. So could be better in power play, but still holding it down in penalty kill. And finally, for the goalie side of things, we've got Mason Stonewall, which is the second best save percentage in the league with .909, and the second ranked goals against average with 1.809. So really holding it down on the defensive straddle and, pulling in the wins when necessary. And Chewie, those are our teams. So I'm going to flip on over to our plays of the week. All right, and coming in at number 5, we've got a massive hit. Was that by Kozak? But let's see, we got Humes got the ball. Let's see who gets it next. Oh, Kozak. Okay, so Kozak did wreck that person and then score a goal. great, double wheel threat. So coming up, we've got a Kamenev is getting the puck on over to Jess. We had some great puck movement on that play for number 4. All right, number 3, watch this feat of athleticism. I want you to look at number 11 coming up the ice, just gets past that defender and scores a breakaway goal. This was so impressive. We're going to watch it one more time, but look, he outruns 2 defenders and wins the goal. That was Leather's great goal. All right, so finally, it's a nail biter 9-9 in the All Star Game final, and Nolan Nordstrom sinks. What is debated is, was it a goal? Who knows? It definitely went in the net, so it probably was a goal, but a heartbreaker nonetheless. And finally, coming in at number 1, we've got going up the ice. Phillips passes it off to Potty. Potty over here takes it, and then without looking, without hesitation, Potty sinks that goal into the back of the net. We'll watch it one last time for greatness, and we'll probably never watch this goal again. Number 1, play of the week, Potty Potty. All right, Chewie. So I'm going to flip on over to our interview with Yodie Logic, and we'll come back at the end of the episode. All right, and we're here live with Yodie Logic. Logic, how's it going? How's it coming these days?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing well. Out here in the sun right now, but it's pretty good. You're one of the most requested people to come on the show from like seeing people that are very active in the league. You do a lot for the league, but before we get into like what you do there, Shakespeare once posed the question, "What's in a name?" And I'm kind of curious. What's the story behind Yodie Logic? What does that mean to you?
Thanks for calling me one of the most requested. I've never heard of that, but Yodie it wasn't anything super special. I joined the league as my first sim league about two years ago. I come back from a movie with my friends, and I was like, I saw one of them. I was gonna call them Brody, but I said Yodie on accident, and that became my name. And I have a whole little family tree of Logic players. So normally all my players with the last name Logic, but I decided to keep Yodie with some of them, and that's the name. I joined here not too long ago, and yeah.
Yeah, your roots kind of originated on the farmers. These were I was on the Atlantic Bucks. We used to play against the Saskatoon farmers, but now you're on the farmers. But do you remember most fondly kind of like about your experience in the minor leagues?
Yeah, I had a short minor league career, so it wasn't anything crazy, but I just knew when I joined the league, I was shooting shit on the team, and
Mhm.
it was really I was excited, and I was asking a bunch of questions, and it was just really good to interact with not only my minor teammates but other people in minor clubhouse, and it was just good to talk with the coaches and see what kind of personal connection you could get on with a level of people on your kind of side of the rink.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think people appreciate you being so open to asking those questions because yeah, they help you, but they also help other people understand what questions kind of float through their mind. So you're the standing head coach of the number 1 ranked Tokyo Tigers. Is that correct? How does that feel?
Yep, that is correct. It's my first season coaching in a big hockey league like this, and it was just to get my feet wet. I had applied like the second I joined to be a minor league coach and an expansion owner, and I thought that I could really do a good job because I feel like I'm a great coach in many leagues, and I had Squibs and Doug and Guy Clausen. I had a lot of help to get here, and it isn't just me as a coach. I think the players they've been amazing, and I've had so much help to begin with, and it's been we started off passive, but we got aggressive, and now we're really fighting, and I think we can hold first for a while.
So like if I know that like it comes down to a lot of different people probably influence, what success means, but how have you achieved success in your current season? Because it's undeniable you're in first place.
You know, uh, we stuck with the game plan from day one. I'm not a guy that I don't switch up the game plan a lot. I talked to Squibs at the start and I asked him, how often should I switch lines and whatnot? And he told me, unless I'm really losing by seven goals, I don't need to switch a lot. There's a lot of transactions and a lot of things happening within the minor league teams, and we've had some of the most transactions, I want to say, and so many switches on really good players. But I think the fact that we get these new players and they take that person's spot right away and fill in the shoes that they need to fill, and they're really stepping up. And I think the game plan we have going is working really well for us.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic. It sounds like you've kind of learned a lot from what you've gathered. And, before we talk about some of the, cool announcements that have already been kind of registered with the public, but we can talk about the pros. Like, I'm just kind of curious, how will you apply what you've learned from the minors to success in the pros?
You know, I think everything I've learned is it's really based on who you have and what you're working with, and I think all of the help I've had is really gonna it's gonna translate into the pros. But I think it depends on what kind of players I get. I've learned that defense wins championships, and with this new game, you need a physical team and a team that's willing to hit, and an offense that isn't too small but isn't too big, and a mix of snipers and playmakers. And I think everything I've learned so far is just going to translate forward, but to a higher level in the pros. And I think we can, just I think the game plan is just building and building and building and building and staying passive. I'm a passive player. I think defense first, but as long as we get shots on net, and the puck's going to go in there.
Absolutely. And talk about you're going into season 7. Tell us more about the Sapporo Steamers. You're the owner of the season 7 expansion team. And I'm going to, let's talk about that and then we'll pull up some images.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing up my team. I'm really excited to have it, and it was a big process. I had so much help from specific people like Tyler Grims, and when I was thinking of Sapporo, I was looking. I really wanted to start a team in Italy. I'd been talking to Squibs, and I thought it'd be really fun to join him in Triple H. But I decided, I was a big anime guy, and I decided Sapporo it looked right, it sounded right, and so I was looking through the logos, and this was the first thing I did because you can find so much off just a logo, and I thought our logo was a train at first, and so did Grims. We thought it was like a train. We were going to be some team called like the Express out in Italy, but I saw it was steamers, and I saw Sapporo in the locations. I was like, I think it's really going to work. I think Japan's a great place to be. I think it's going to be good for media. I thought graphics wise, because I do graphics, it's going to be really helpful to bring in players. I think it's a big attraction, and they got the beer fest. So I mean, nothing to do with me, but I'm sure they'll bring some of the audience around.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great like visual kind of team you've got here. I pulled up the primary and secondary images for our viewers, and I was kind of curious what's kind of the motivation between this primary logo and then maybe talk about the secondary.
So the primary logo, Sapporo, it translates into dry and great river because they have a river. I believe it's called the Toko. I'm not sure the river name. Not gonna, but it's a big thing in Sapporo, and I do think that it was a good looking logo. It was kind of hard to deal with because it didn't have a lot of coloring to put onto it, but I thought it would look good with the team colors, and I think it would just be a great primary logo. And I looked deep into the secondary logo, thought it was a broken mast at first to a ship, kind of like I think of it as like the revolutionary between moving from wooden sailboats and wind carried boats to boats powered by steam and gas and things that kind of revolutionized the water industry. And I think it's kind of a big thing that especially cities and countries like around the Asian area because the water all around it and the oceans. And I think it's going to be a big because Sapporo's in the northern area of Japan, and I just think it's a good symbolization of what Sapporo is.
Well, excellent. That's a very informed and educated answer. So compliments to you for definitely doing your research and being, meaningful when it comes to like why we choose, different areas. So let's take another peek. We've got here the alt jerseys that I'm pulling up, and I've got the alt logo, which, from my opinion, these are so sick. Just wanted to hear your kind of kind of take on these?
Well, I feel like a lot of people think of Tokyo and think of Japan and think of all these big cities in Japan, and they think of two things. They think of snow and the big Neo scene. I feel like it really shows the mainstream cities in the main part of Japan. I feel like the blue and the pink. It really brings out a jersey, and I haven't seen a lot of jerseys like it. And I think the logo. I just thought it looked good, man. I think sometimes you just got to go with looks best, and it shows me the mainstream Japanese culture, and it shows us kind of this Neo theme. And we saw a train that had the same color scheme in Japan as the bullet train, and we were going to be a train themed team, so I was like, oh, might as well do this. But I think the pipeline of Japan is really a kind of, I wouldn't say a stereotype, because I think it's a great thing, and I think it definitely is revolutionized, vibrant colors and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, what a great perspective on that. And I think that those jerseys look sick. I look forward to seeing them on the ice, and I look forward to, for me, when I was a minor league coach, I was like, this is fun and all. I won the minor league championship, and I was like, I want a greater challenge. And I want, what is even harder than coaching the minors? It's coaching the pros. And then it was like, well, it's not just coaching the team, it's about like owning the team, being like the owner for all of these different things that could possibly happen. So I like totally commend you, and I'm fingers crossed for you next year. I'm really hoping you achieve what you want. So I've got a question. Like, do you got any shout outs for our viewers? Any like causes you want to bring notice to, or anything like that?
Well, I do want to say this. Uh, I'm praying for anyone affected by the Nashville school shooter, anyone who lives in Tennessee. But I just want to say shout out to people in goals, specifically Doug Britton helped me so much, and he's really going to keep helping me moving forward. I know it's a pain to do his job. I'm sure it's really difficult. Um, Tyler Grimm's, absolute legend. He's helped me so much with my team design. I mean, I basically want to give him the team at this point. And then, just seeing people in the chat every day, and seeing my team, Tokyo, I think it's a tighter connection than I really thought it was at first. And I thought I was kind of using them as a stepping stone when I got here as my coaching job, but I really, like the ear. And I think I owe everything to those guys.
It sounds like you come with a lot of empathy for the things around you, and you recognize that it's more than just the footsteps we alone leave on the earth. It's like the collective behind it. So I'm just kind of curious, like, as our closing question, where do you see the league 5 years from now?
Well, I'm a really optimistic guy. I think the league. I mean, I've been here for a year, and the growth that you can see it visually, and you can see it internally. It's definitely been a big growth, and I think it's just going to keep growing from on and on and on. And I want to say, from my perspective, I want my teams to succeed, and I want my player to succeed. But I think everybody in here is going to grow. I think the medias are going to grow. I think things like Rinkside are going to grow. I feel like there will be more than just Rinkside at some point. I feel like there are just a bunch of huge things coming. I think everything will just grow to an expansion of what it already is now, and a bigger version with a more controlled, organized, and a good group of people running it.
Excellent. Love the optimism and love the kind of limitless potential ahead. Been a pleasure having you on, Logic. And with that, we'll wish you on out.
Thank you.
All right, Chewie, we're here back from the end of the episode. That was a really fun adventure. Hope you had a good time. Any closing thoughts for the audience, man? You gonna just keep it chill?
Yeah, let's just keep it chill, man.
Just keep it chill. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and see you guys later.